So I'd like to invite Bob Somerville up onto stage for our second giveaway.
Hello, if you'd like to make a block at home, maybe you can make an ETC one on this ASIC right here. Courtesy of iPolo. So it's another iPolo X1. Is Mikhail Poleka here?
Can we put that out into the corridor as well? So can you repeat that?
No.
Again, Bob?
Well, maybe I'll go to the next. Yeah,
One
Mikhail Poleka. Is Mikhail Poleka here? Winner of an ASIC? Are we going to go to a next person? Maybe. Maybe we have an unlucky person. You're not here, you lose. Heinek Gina? No?
All right, so let's keep those two names and see what happens.
We'll keep the names.
You know, oh, here he is.
Oh, who do we have here?
Mika.
Oh, yeah. Yeah?
This is really good, right?
Are you sure?
My good friend. Well,
this is for your friend.
Let's get a picture of you accepting it for him.
You can accept it on his behalf.
So I'm Hinek now, right?
Yes. Here you go.
Yeah. That's a proof.
Now we know.
Okay.
This is proof of receipt.
We have a photo of this man, if it's not true.
I'm gonna send him your regards.
Excellent. Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
So the next piece in our program is the Litecoin Foundation mining panel. Zero downtime through proof of work. If I can ask everybody to come on up to stage. And who's going to be running this? You are. You've got the moderator shirt. Sure. Here, take this one.
Hello. I feel like Oprah, but without the giveaways. So
You don't look like her.
No.
Tess.
It's funny that. Thanks very much to everyone who's come and you know, post-lunch. Really appreciate it. So I'm Robbie Coleman, Creative Director of the Litecoin Foundation. And with me I've got some of my cohort or you know, colleagues from the Litecoin Foundation. Maybe we'll start off with you, Alan. Introduce yourself.
Yes, hi, Alan Austin. I'm the Managing Director at Litecoin Foundation.
Kerry, come on.
Hi, I'm Kerry Washington. I run the Light Wallet team, which is a mobile app to have a wallet for Litecoin.
Yep, there you go. And Loshan.
Hi, I'm Loshan. I'm a software developer for the Litecoin Foundation. And I just work on Litecoin software, which is lots of stuff.
It's a lot.
Very good. Wow, what a rousing introduction from everyone. Maybe we'll start off with Alan. Alan, do you want to maybe talk a little bit about what the Litecoin Foundation is, what it does, and the objectives of Litecoin Foundation?
Yeah, sure. And unfortunately, we had two other people from the foundation that couldn't make it here today. But so the Litecoin Foundation, we're
just to clarify, they're not dead. They just couldn't make it today.
Yeah,
So
they're not dead.
Just everyone's cool. Yeah. Sorry,
Alan. So Litecoin Foundation, we are a nonprofit organization. It was founded in 2017. And as everybody knows, Litecoin was a decentralized pre-mined, did not have a pre-mined, decentralized, fairly launched currency. So the foundation is primarily driven by donations and some other things we do. Our general mission is to basically support and help promote Litecoin adoption and overall the Litecoin ecosystem. And we do that through a variety of things like education, providing tools and resources to the community, wallet development, software, working with partnerships. Our goal really is all about global adoption in terms of both usage, Litecoin, and using it as a payments cryptocurrency, and just overall good for adoption in terms of proof of work. So we do a lot of different things through the organization. through our team and through, we have volunteers that work throughout the world that we all collaborate with.
I love the global adoption thing. It makes it sound like Pinky in the Brain. One of the things you mentioned was Litecoin Foundation obviously supports the development of the Litecoin and Litecoin ecosystem. Got Loshan next to me. Maybe, Loshan, do you want to talk about some more recent developments that you've done? Maybe Litecoin Space would be a relevant one.
Yeah, sure. So recently I worked on forking mempool. So some of you guys might be familiar with the mempool Bitcoin Explorer, and what we did is we forked it to support Litecoin, and that includes some of the libraries that we use to make mempool or Litecoin Space work. So that includes a Rust library. So if there's any Rust developers here, I don't know, maybe you'll use that to build stuff on Litecoin. It's mainly stuff like that to help other developers build on top of Litecoin or build Litecoin applications.
And so what's the component? There's like another component to it being the Explorer. What does the Explorer actually show?
Yeah, so the Explorer itself is, it lets you visualize the mempool. So it shows the current state of the mempool, and it shows maybe if miners are censoring any incoming transactions or anything like that. We basically are a resource for historical Litecoin data. It's not just block data or mempool data, it's also price history, mining history, that sort of thing.
And how far does the data go back?
So I tried to do my best. It does go pretty far back, all the way back to Genesis, or almost close to Genesis, but the data is kind of missing towards the start.
Sorry, that was a bit of a loaded question because I was there with Loshan mid-breakdown. And Kerry, maybe do you want to maybe discuss what you've been up to the last year and I guess the future of Light Wallet, any integrations that are coming up, all that kind of stuff?
Sure, yeah. So we have a code base that's almost 6 years old. The problem is we've gotten more users and we have a bigger team. But when it's working, you don't want to pull it apart too easily. So our focus for the last year has been getting ready for the new project, which we're calling Newborn, which is basically a complete overhaul of the wallet itself with a new middle layer, and also preparing for MWeb, right, which that work for light clients.
And so when can people learn about MWeb? Maybe in 30 minutes or something like that? Do you want to plug in?
Right after this panel, I will talk more about MWeb. You will love it. You'll love it.
Love it. And so just to do with the wallet, so the functions of the wallet, obviously user experience, you're trying to keep it as fluid as possible. I mean, how many people are you getting per month using the wallet? What have you seen adoption like? All that kind of stuff.
Right, so pre-halving, we were averaging about 19,000 users per month, right? This is globally, usually it's for developing countries, right? So like obviously Russia, Ukraine, Nigeria, Brazil, these are the places people are using it because their currency is not as stable. We have a big contingent from the US as well, but I try to bias towards those developing countries where I know their currency is not that good.
Yeah.
We added Turkish and Ukrainian in the last 2 years, right? Because of that, because we know we needed it. Yeah.
And so how does that play? I mean, Alan, you were talking about global adoption. I mean, how does that play in terms of the strategy from the Foundation for Global Adoption? You know, obviously trying to develop for certain developing countries, that's a terrible sentence, but also make them, you know, open and user-friendly for those countries.
Yeah, I mean, there are certainly, we have we're so early when we really step back and look at what we need to achieve. Our goal, again, is to see this, to position Litecoin as a global payments currency, and we are continuing to see that trend. And if you look at all of I always say put price aside. Price is always emotional. It doesn't always represent what's really happening. In the longer term, that generally catches up. But if you look at a lot of the trends and things that are happening with Litecoin, the growth and the adoption, those things are all continuing to grow solid. One of the things we do is we do so much through the foundation. We also work with various partners. We also try and help to onboard merchants, to accept Litecoin. anything we could do to help reach out in different areas to help educate. And then through our website that we just kind of revamped recently, we're building a bigger portal, again, to help merchants. You know, if you're a merchant and you want to offer Litecoin, where do you go? What do you do? We'd like to have a place where you can go and provide all those options. If you want to spend your Litecoin, how do you do it? Well, here's the different ways. If you need to store it, what's the safest way to store it? So there's a lot of different things there that we can do. And that's why we also work with partnerships as well, and we'll help promote through our community reach.
Yeah, speaking of resources, there's also resources on how you can mine Litecoin as well. So there's some very easy to follow instructionals there as well. Just on mining, obviously, well not obviously, but we hit a all-time high in terms of difficulty and hash rate. Does anyone want to talk to that, you know, pre and post halving and the effect that it's had on Litecoin? Pass on that. Cool. Merge mining. What about that?
Wait.
Do you know that?
I don't remember the exact hash rate. I guess you can go to litecoinspace.org and
You can.
I'm plugging. But in terms of trends, the hash rate hasn't decreased as many people were saying. The hash rate has been kind of very, very stable. We're currently still sitting at an all-time high, and it's kind of crazy. I guess when the Locotech guys, who you might have seen in the sponsors, when they launch their ASICs, the hash rate is going to continue to rise, and so will the difficulty. It's going to be kind of crazy in the next year or so.
Alan?
Yeah, and I'll just add, too, in terms of merge mining and rewards, I mean, Litecoin, as most of you know, is merge mined with Dogecoin. And so one of the interesting things about Dogecoin is that it has what's called tail emissions, meaning that the rewards go on indefinitely. So while you have the properties of good money where with Litecoin, with a limited supply, it halves every 4 years, Dogecoin is sort of the opposite, where you have a continued supply all the time. One of the interesting things about, and so combined, you have the rewards. You're basically sharing the same security budget, but twice the rewards, or if not more. So one interesting thing about tail emissions is sort of the unknown of what happens potentially when the rewards, continue to decrease every 4 years. Will that be enough incentive for miners? I mean, likely, but it's, will the fees be enough to offset? But because of the tail emissions that Dogecoin offers, it sort of presents an interesting experiment, like assuming that they continue to be merge mined down the road, as the Litecoin rewards get smaller, and you also have these other rewards, it could be a good sort of complement to each other, but we'll see. So, but because there's been a lot of benefits by combining, together to do both.
Yeah, I mean, leaving aside your personal taste for Dogecoin, it obviously was a pretty significant thing in the ecosystem to have a merge mine in 2014 with Dogecoin and Litecoin. I mean, Loshan, do you see there being more possibilities for merge mining with other script coins, or with a great precedent in Doge?
Yeah, so I think recently we've heard from many proof-of-work coins considering moving to proof-of-stake. They claim they want to do this not because of some sort of economic or technical reason, but because they want to be more green, which is a good thing to do, right? We don't want to be wasting electricity unnecessarily. So based on what Dogecoin did, I think that many other cryptos should consider moving into merge mining with Bitcoin or Litecoin, similar to Doge, and you share the benefits of proof of work, but without any of the costs of electricity.
Yeah, right. So it's more about the upside in terms of, I guess, the sustainability, but
right.
Not just from a commercial standpoint, but also an environmental one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Kerry, do you have anything to add to that?
Not much, just the fact that people, I think, underplay the importance of the merge mine and how politically at the time Dogecoin was a complete joke, and it was meant as a joke, and it turns out that Charlie saved Dogecoin by doing the merge mine. So, a lot of people forget about that, and we've got Elon Musk talking about Dogecoin, or he used to. So I think we have that ethos in the foundation, like, hey, if we can make the system a little bit stronger and expand it to more people, that's generally what we try to do.
Yeah, I mean, this idea of the rising tide lifts all boats, or whatever that cliche is that I'm going to butcher. I mean, how do you see that, Alan, working with, you know, other cryptocurrencies play out for the Litecoin ecosystem? Do you see it as being, you know, outside of mining? Do you see opportunities for partnerships and various, well, I mean, this is a great example. We've come together with the E2C Cooperative to put on this event. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you, E2C Cooperative. But outside of that, do you see more, I guess, community involvement from other coins?
I think there's, yeah, you always want to be open-minded to things, you know, opportunities. And this space is already, as a whole, we still face a lot of challenges because cryptocurrency is still so new. There's a lot of regulatory, you know, things that face us, everything else. So I always hate when I see like this division within, you know, at least within proof of work coins and things of that nature, where there's, you know, together I think we could find, we should be open to what we could do together in things that might work, things that might not work, but at least to be able to be willing to explore those things. I think that the merge mining with Dogecoin is just one example. Yeah. It's very possible we have others. You know, our collaboration with ETC Cooperative saying, hey, you have Ethereum Classic, you have Litecoin, but what about the bigger picture of proof of work, which is just as important, you know, in such an important topic. So together we're going beyond just these specific coins, but to the whole ecosystem, which is something, you know, involves, of course, Bitcoin and others. And so I think it's a way to reach out to broader communities and educate more people by collaborating.
Controversial question for anyone on the panel, but is there any community you wouldn't work with?
What do you mean, merge mining?
I think, okay, I'll speak on, like, Litecoin's positions, foundation, I would say, is not positions not to, it's more about ensuring that, you know, we get approached a lot by people that want partnerships, but sometimes it's a token or, you know, we don't know much about, and we always have to be a little bit careful there because there's we've seen a lot of shady things going on in scams and stuff like that. So, I mean, if it's not, you know, if it's a fairly launched coin, decentralized, you know, it's kind of hard, you know, you can't, you know, you may not like it, but you can't really knock it, so.
I mean, we don't speak on behalf of Litecoin, so it was a bit of a trick question. But also I wanted to see whether maybe something came out, a bit of gossip. We do have 15 minutes. Obviously, we're very interesting people. We wanted to throw it out to the crowd. I was joking, being facetious. But throw it out to the crowd to see if anyone had any questions of the Litecoin Foundation, and we can do our best to answer them. But any final words from you, Alan, before we pass over?
So let me add one thing, and on MWeb, Kerry mentioned MWeb, and he's going to do a workshop right after and go into more detail, so I won't get into the detail. But for those of you that don't know what MWeb is, basically just recently, Litecoin added a privacy layer to its blockchain, and it's basically a very basic level of privacy that allows the ability, and this is an optional layer, and that allows you to basically conceal the to address from address as well as the amount sent. And the reason this was added is it was felt that the one thing that was missing from like sound money was at least a very basic level of privacy, the same level of privacy you get if you pay with cash. If you pay with your credit card, for example, at a store, you know, they don't know how much money is in your account. Up until now, that's really the one thing that's been missing, because if you otherwise use your, you know, say Bitcoin or even Litecoin before MWeb, you know, everything is on the blockchain. There's a public ledger. People could potentially trace these things to other wallets and so forth. So having a basic level of privacy, we believe, is at least enough for most people to use it when they want to. But because we chose it